Coming up this week, we're down at Regent's Park Open Air Theatre to chat to the star of its radical new production of Antigone. We're heading to Venice for Thing of the Week, and I'll be reviewing Julia Roberts and George Clooney's new old-school rom-com, Ticket to Paradise. Sophocles' Antigone has survived for 2,500 years because its themes of civil disobedience, familial love and personal versus legal obligation never stop being relevant. Now the writer Inua Ellams has tackled it from a new angle, and we went to the Open Air Theatre in Regent's Park to talk to its star.
They love terror because she says religion does not lead you astray. Your gender should not make...
For me, I think one of the things that's really sort of, prevalent within this play is when you come and you watch it without any spoilers. When we were rehearsing this, there was a very real possibility of there being the first brown Prime Minister in this country. And I think that, particularly the fact that there's a lot of South Asians in this play, and it's telling the story of sort of a South Asian community, well, not specifically just a South Asian community, about London, about Londoners, about, myriad of different people are reflected in this show. But I think there were a lot of interesting discussions that came up in rehearsal around, well, what does that mean in a world in which you see someone that looks like you but that doesn't actually represent what you stand for? What does it mean when you've got someone that looks like you but that is probably contributing towards your oppression? Not just the oppression of people that look like them, but just the oppression of the marginalised or the disenfranchised. So I think what this play does brilliantly is kind of raise those questions in a really nuanced way. I hope in a way that doesn't sort of make anyone feel like they're being lectured to in any way, shape or form, but I think asking those really big questions, certainly for me, when I think about theatre, when I think about when we have discussions around diversity, well, to what extent are we sort of achieving diversity if we have people who are contributing to our oppression, I guess, is my point.
Tonight we're a walking way, and Antigone must be free.
If you've never been to Venice, chances are you have a good idea of what it looks like, not just from smug influencers on Instagram, but from the paintings of Canaletto. He created, and created is the right word, he loved shifting buildings around, the definitive views of the island city. And this one at the National Gallery is our Thing of the Week.
This is a painting by Canaletto, the most famous artist of 18th century Venice. His name is not actually Canaletto. He's born Giovanni Antonio Canal. Canaletto means little canal or son of canal, because obviously his father had that surname too, but it becomes the perfect name for an artist who becomes so famous painting the waterways of Venice. We're on the Grand Canal here, but in the very northern reaches. This actually today is the train station in Venice. So it's all disappeared and become this very, very kind of modern piece of architecture. But here in the middle of the 18th century, we're watching this kind of really lovely, ordinary day. Canaletto becomes very famous for painting the high days and holidays of Venice, the scenes and processions, kind of great pomp and circumstance, regattas and ceremonies. But actually here, we get this beautiful slice of everyday life. And throughout, there's this kind of gentle sense of neglect, this kind of beautiful crumbling stonework, little kind of weeds poking up in some of the buildings. To me, it's just this beautiful slice of everyday life in 18th century Venice.
It's a 60-second film review. Is it 1997? You might think so, and frankly, after the last god-awful week/3 years, thank God for a bit of escapism. And that's what you've got in this textbook rom-com from Old Parker, who must have given thanks to the cinematic gods when George Clooney and Julia Roberts agreed to star as a bitterly feuding divorced couple forced to finally grow the hell up. Georgia and David loathe each other, but when their daughter Lily, Booksmart's Catelyn Diva, falls in love on a trip to Bali and decides to marry a seaweed farmer, Guédet, French actor Maxime Boutier, both are appalled and must join forces to stop it. Can you guess what happens? Doesn't matter. They're a pleasure to watch. Clooney as David is a spiky delight, and I had forgotten what a beautifully natural actor Julia Roberts is. And because it's not 1997, nobody mispronounces any of the Balinese names for comic effect. It's not especially clever, right? The script doesn't sparkle, it's not even mildly surprising, and it's just sweet and fun, and my God, Bali looks breathtaking. If you need me, I'll be at the airport. Thanks for watching. For more great things to see and do in the capital, follow me and Evening Standard on TikTok and ES Culture on Instagram. See you next week.